Hello everyone, in this video I'm going to show you how to add audio to your shots. Now before we begin, I'd just like to say a few words. If you find any of the content in this course hard to follow, well, you can leave a comment, but I was just really taking your time. It's not a race to see how fast you can go through the course and go through all the lessons. If you don't understand something, go back, listen to it again. If you still don't understand, go back and listen to it again. There is no rush. The whole point of this course is so that you have a better understanding of Blender and so that you can efficiently and proficiently, I think those mean the same thing, I'm not sure. So just so you can be very efficient when using Blender. That's the entire goal of this course. So I just wanted to give you a little reminder to just take your time and really dive into these lessons, follow along if you can, and re-listen to parts you don't understand. Don't just try and get to the end as fast as you can, because that's not the point. You spent good money on this course and we want to give you as much value as we possibly can, but if you don't understand what we're saying in these videos, then there's no point really. So you just have to kind of do it for you, like listen to it for you, because this is for you. All right, that out of the way, let's get to the lesson. So in Blender, the waveform of an audio file doesn't show up on the timeline like it does in Maya, because it's part of an embedded editing software. So instead, we're going to use the video sequencer. What you need to do is first create a separate window, and what I'm going to do is drag up from the timeline just so we have something that's the same length as the timeline. It's easier for us to visually follow the audio if it's the same length as our timeline. Now let's go ahead and change this new window to video sequencer, and then we're going to go to add sound, and I'm going to plug in this audio that I have of Max and May. So let's add strip. That doesn't look like much, but we're going to do something about that. So another way of importing this audio is by just going to that audio file, and you can just kind of drag and drop. That works as well. And Blender accepts both WAV and MP3 formats. So now that we have our audio file in here, there's a few things you can do. First thing I'm going to do is make sure my cursor is on the video sequencer. Then I'm going to hold Control, and then with middle mouse, I'm going to drag up just so we have a bigger visual of our audio. And I'm just holding middle mouse and Control. Okay, I think that's good enough. And again, I'm using middle mouse here to kind of pan left and right here. Cool. So now what I can do is I can click on it. By holding left click, I can drag it left and right and move it in the timeline. So for example, right now, the audio is starting at frame 21 just because we were in frame 21 when we imported it. So if you go to frame 0, there's nothing, and then you start hearing the audio. So what I can do is I can click on it. With left click, I can bring it back and have it start from frame 1. So now from frame 1, when we press play, there you go. You can also click on either edge, and once this is selected, you can not move it, but you can cut it. So now when we press play, it doesn't start from the beginning, it starts from frame 22. And bring it back to this beginning, press play again. There we go. And again, you can do this from the other end as well. You just select this end and you can cut the clip short if you'd like. So one thing you guys might notice is that in the video sequencer, we have seconds, but in the timeline, we have frames. That sucks. I don't want that. In animation, it's a lot more useful to have frames. So I'm gonna go ahead and go to view on the sequencer and then check off show seconds. Right now it's checked. I'm gonna uncheck it. And now we see the frame and it plays at the same time as our timeline.
Oh, you mean my new spray?
Forest breeze. Okay. All right, so an audio is a lot more useful if you can actually see the waveforms, so you can see when an accent is coming up, when there's no audio, so you can plan ahead. So let's go ahead and turn the waveforms on this. I'm just gonna make this a little bit bigger. And with my mouse in the video sequencer, I'm going to press N on my keyboard, and we have this new menu. So under sound, in strip, under sound, check display waveform, and now we can see the audio as it happens.
Hey, what's that smell?
And that visually looks so much better. You know when something's gonna pop up. And if you guys notice, when we scrub, we can hear our audio when we're scrubbing, and that's because in our timeline video we turned on scrubbing and we changed sync to audio. If we had play every frame and we didn't have scrubbing does nothing, and pressing play plays the audio. But if you had animations that was hard on your computer, the audio wouldn't match the visual. So we want to make sure that this is on sync to audio, and for audio you want to make sure scrubbing is on. So this is a lot easier to work with when you're animating lip sync, or you're trying to hit certain accents in your shot that matches the audio. So make sure to always have those options on if you're working with audio. This could be a special case, but if you still can't scrub, or if it still doesn't sound right, try going to Edit, Preferences, System, and then scrub down to Sound, and try changing your audio device to something else. You'll have to test them out to see which one works for you, but this could be a fix. Now, if you want to edit your audio, let's say, hey, the pause here is too long. So make sure you have your audio selected, and you can press K, and let's go over here, press K, and I can select this middle section and press delete, and now that's gone. So then I can drag this here, just like a video editing software or audio editing software. Now when we press play,
Breeze. Merchant said girls dig it.
there's a lot less dead space over there, and I think this is pretty cool because I don't think this is something you can do in Maya. But Blender pretty much has its own video editing software inside of Blender, which is pretty insane. And you can of course set markers as well. So let's say that there's a big accent right here that I want to animate. With my mouse here, I can press M, and now I have a visual marker of when that accent is coming up. And again, if you remember, with the marker selected, you can press X on your keyboard, and then you can delete the marker. Now back in this menu right here in N, as you guys can see, inside Blender you can also change the audio, and as you guys see that it turns red when it gets a little too high. You don't want to do that. That just means it's not going to sound good. It's going to be cutting out and whatnot. So we're going to leave it at 1. You can also adjust the pitch if you want it to sound like chipmunks. Let's bring it back. Let's bring this down a little bit, see how that sounds. Okay, we got beasts and dragons. You know what? Let's go back to 1.
Hey, Forest Breeze.
Much better. But these options are there if you do want to mess around with them. Now the other cool thing is that anything in Blender is keyable. So let's go to frame 4, and let's bring the volume down to 0, right click and insert keyframe on the attribute. Let's go to frame 40 and change this to 1. And now we have a fade.
Hey, what's that smell?
So we have the audio going from 0 to 1 in the 40 frames that we set. And that's true with any attribute ever. So you can set keys on any of these. Another thing you can do, let's Control Z our keys here, is actually click on the clip, and you can go to fade, and then you can make it fade in, so that way you have a built-in fade in. There's other options as well, fade in, fade out. So now the clip fades in and then fades out.
Hey, what?
Let's skip to the end.
Forest Breeze.
That's pretty cool. You can also duplicate the clip, so if I press Shift D, I can duplicate it, I can bring it above. You can delete any spaces in between, you can mute it by right-clicking and going to mute strip. And it's a lot of stuff you can do. It's essentially like a video editing software inside of a 3D software, inside of a rendering software, inside of a... You got everything. With Blender, you got everything. So let's close sound over here and let's go to time. Let's see what we have here. So here you're able to edit the start and end frames. You can offset the entire strip or shift the sound around within the strip. So if we go to strip offset, you can see it's the same as pretty much cutting the clip short. Now with hold offset start, you will keep the start of the clip the same, but when you move this, the end of the clip kind of moves backwards, but the timing of the start of the clip doesn't move. So now we're starting about 1.5 seconds into this sequence instead of starting from 0. So I hope that makes sense. You guys can mess around with these options if you like to get a better understanding of how it all works. Now let's close time and open up Source. Let's see what we have here. So in Source, you can actually pack the audio, which makes it part of the Blender file. And if you enable caching, the sound will play directly from Blender instead of pulling it from a hard drive. This could be very, very useful if you're transferring files. If you send a file and you cache and pack your audio in, then the person opening it can actually see the audio and hear the audio without running into any issues. Alright, so that's pretty much everything you need to know about sound editing for our purposes. Most of the time you'll just use it to import audio and display the waveform, and maybe adjust the volume a little bit or chop off any unnecessary bits. And markers can be useful to mark big accents and just the highlights of an audio if you'd like. Now for rendering the audio, if you want to render out the edited audio, so let's say I made a bunch of edits here, I cut the audio and I have it fading in, fading out, and I want to save this audio as a audio file. For this, you can simply go to Render, Render Audio. And here we're going to choose where we want the file to be. And for your container, you can choose WAV or MP3. In this case, I'm going to go with MP3. And let's go ahead and name this Audio Export 1. You can press Mix Down and your audio will be exported. And that's about it for this video. Thank you for sticking through it with me. The next video is going to be a little bit longer than this one. I was looking at the script and I cried a little bit. So I just want you to mentally prepare a little bit, and I'll see you in that video.